Betrayal is not a storm, it is the weather. At work, the room applauds, and your slide sits on someone else's lips. Credit drifts like smoke to the man who arrived late but practiced his smile. You do not rage. You open your folder and hand the director a brief you prepared last week. Tasks, timestamps, authors. You scheduled follow-ups, kept a private changelog, and looped leadership early. The thief leaves with claps. You leave with receipts. Preparation does not heal disloyalty, it makes it small. A friend accidentally repeats what you told him in confidence, and the circle turns curious, then cold. You do not perform heartbreak. You draw the thread back to him with precision. Who knew, when, from whom? You reverse the pressure by asking him to help correct the confusion he spread. Screenshots exist, venues are chosen, apologies are timed. You planned for the day warmth would melt. The plan does not hate him, the plan protects you. At home, the ultimatum arrives. Choose now or lose me. The tone is tender, the clock is brutal. You do not sprint. You set a time and a room. You request the topics and terms, and you decline to decide inside panic. If they truly need chaos to win, they are telling you their future strategy. You do not debate love in the middle of a fire. You decide obligations when the air is clear. Calm is not softness, calm is armor. Now you strip the romance from the word trust. Trust is credit, not faith. A line of credit opens when incentives align and collateral exists. It grows with verified performance. It shrinks when risk rises. He would never is not underwriting. History is reference, not guarantee. You price risk the same way you price time, soberly. Who benefits if you fail? Who profits if you pause? Who gains by leaking early? You keep this ledger current. Praise is not collateral. Tears are not collateral. A beautiful story about loyalty is not collateral. Collateral is measurable, shared upside, tied to milestones. A reputation that bleeds if they defect. A structure that requires two keys for the dangerous draw. When incentives diverge, credit tightens. When incentives converge, credit expands. This is not cynicism, it is adult math. It is how you keep your house when the rain continues. So the rule, trust only when necessary, verify as a reflex, compartmentalize so one breach cannot sink you. Give slices, not the whole pie. Keep your drafts in secure channels, your approvals in writing, your decisions in rooms with witnesses. Build dual controls for money and authority. Rotate the lock every quarter. Most people are decent until pressure arrives. Systems ensure decency is not your only defense. Make fidelity cheaper than betrayal. Tie rewards to the finish, not the promise. Pay in tranches aligned to delivery. Offer status and access that vanish cleanly if standards break. Share credit generously in public and record authorship precisely in private. Cultivate alternatives, backup vendors, cross-train teammates, multiple routes to the same outcome, so no single hand can squeeze your throat. If leaving you costs them status, time, and future deals, many will stay simply because it is wise. None of this requires cruelty, it requires clarity. You can be warm after you are safe. Shake hands, but watch the ledger. Give trust, but ask it to carry weight. When betrayal comes, and it will let it find you surrounded by architecture, policies, proofs, and paths that lead back to order. The naive cry, how could they? The strategist says, of course they might, and lives accordingly. Expect the turn, design the guardrails. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. You want to believe that a good heart and a shared past keep you safe. You think the warmth of the circle is shelter, that old stories bind new behavior, that virtue speaks for itself. But power does not read your past, it reads your posture. Flattery, group warmth, and moral theater are costumes. They perform care while they measure leverage. If you are careless, you audition for a role you did not choose. Start with the sentiment trap. At work, you meet the best friend who seems to understand you perfectly. They ask generous questions. They share small wounds to invite your larger ones. Soon, your break room talks become late-night messages and long walks after meetings where you confess stress, doubts, and names. It feels safe because the tone is soft. But intimacy is not loyalty. Sometimes it is reconnaissance. The details you give become a map. Your deadlines, your frustrations, the people you avoid, the moments you freeze. Later, when a negotiation turns sharp, the best friend knows which words melt your resolve and which promises buy your silence. They do not need to threaten you. They only need to quote you back to yourself. A simple case. A capable analyst tells a work friend that the director's attention makes her nervous, that she prefers quiet work and hates public conflict. 2 weeks later, during a resource dispute, the friend praises her thoughtful temperament while volunteering to be the voice in meetings. On paper, it sounds generous. In practice, it shifts visibility and credit to the friend, while keeping the analyst where she admitted she would stay off stage. Months pass. The friend now brokers introductions with the director using the analyst's results as evidence of their impact. No threats, just leverage built from confessions. How do you disarm the trap? Treat intimacy like a contract: terms, timing, and terrain. Share context after decisions, not before. When someone fishes with "Who bothers you most?" answer with structure, not names. What slows me down is unclear scope. Here's my fix. When a colleague asks for your honest feelings before a high-stakes meeting, pivot to outcomes. My position is X. If Y happens, I will do Z. Keep confessions for relationships that earn them across time and aligned incentives. You are not required to feed another person's strategy with your secrets. Give people your terms. Let them earn your tenderness. Now, public virtue and the private knife. Moral language is the most efficient detergent for self-interest. For the team, for the culture, for the cause. These phrases sound like clean water. Look underneath for the current. Often they bundle your labor into someone else's plan. A manager invokes the team to justify uneven assignments that spotlight a favorite. An organizer says the cause to pressure you into a weekend of unpaid work while they build a brand on photographs of the day. A family elder declares for peace in the house to demand that you tolerate the same disrespect that creates the conflict. Read incentives, not speeches. Who gains status if this plan succeeds? Who gets cover if it fails? Who owns the risk? Who enjoys the upside? And who writes the history? If the answers point to the same pocket every time, you are not serving a cause. You are subsidizing a costume. The antidote is clinical clarity. When morality appears, ask for mechanics. What is the concrete goal? The deadline, the division of labor, the budget, the measure of success, the exit ramp if conditions change. Who decides when "for the team" is satisfied? If questions trigger shame tactics, you have learned the truth. Your virtue was a tool for extraction. You can keep your values and still negotiate. Say, "I support the goal. Here are my terms." Say, "If we're sharing sacrifice, show me the ledger." Say, "I'll commit X if Y is locked in writing." This is not cynicism, it is stewardship. Your effort is a budget. Do not let slogans spend it without receipts. If someone calls you disloyal for requesting structure, you have located the private knife. The blade is hidden in the robe, marked "good person." Finally, the myth of permanent allies. You want alliances to be lifelong because the idea is comforting, like a warm house you can return to without knocking. But alliances are seasonal, bound by interest, timing, and terrain. People change departments, partners, ambitions, and beliefs. Incentives shift, maps are redrawn. Yesterday's bridge becomes today's toll. When you pretend alliances are eternal, you personalize every shift. You call it betrayal when it may only be weather. Normalize churn. In politics, firms, churches, and friend groups, coalitions form to solve a problem and dissolve when the problem changes. The people who marched with you in one campaign might compete with you in the next without hating you. The colleague who backed your product before launch can pivot when the company's revenue target moves. The cousin who defended you at dinner may stay quiet next year because their mortgage depends on a different piece. If you understand seasons, you prepare. You document agreements. You separate affection from terms. You plan graceful exits that protect goodwill and guard your leverage. This realism frees you. When allies shift, you stop begging for explanations and start checking barometers. You ask, what changed in the incentives? What season is this? You move with dignity because you planned for motion. You keep the door open without leaving your vault unlocked. You replace hurt with protocol, offboarding that is calm, boundaries that are visible, and bridges strong enough to cross again if the weather turns in your favor. None of this requires cold blood. It requires a clear head. You can care for people and still track incentives. You can honor history and still update the terms. You can be generous without being legible to predators. The point is not to fear kindness, but to anchor it. The point is not to reject causes, but to audit them. The point is not to avoid alliances, but to right-size your expectations to the reason. In the end, power respects structure. Good hearts and shared memories are beautiful. They are not body armor. Flattery tries to write your script. Group warmth tries to spend your hours. Moral theater tries to outsource your judgment. Your defense is simple. Share less, measure more, and bind your generosity to rules you can repeat. Let your face show warmth and your calendar show terms. Let your loyalty be real and your contracts be clear. When the costumes shift, you will still be the same, readable, consistent, and hard to move without your consent. Warm soul, written terms. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. Carl Jung, you want to be trusted. You want to be seen as solid, safe, and open. That longing looks harmless, even noble, yet in the wrong hands it becomes a blindfold. Approval, hunger whispers, be transparent now, and closeness will come. Abandonment, fear mutters, hurry or they will leave. The hero part of you adds, prove you are different, prove you are good. Together they steer you toward the traps you meant to avoid. Your enemy is not chaos. Your enemy is need that votes faster than you can think. The need to be trusted is the first snare. It shows up as early promises, soft rules, and quick access. A new colleague tells you something personal, and you mirror it, offering a shortcut into your inner circle. A date rushes intimacy with grand language, soulmate, destiny, forever, and you answer with unearned certainty to keep the bond warm. In a deal, you ease off verification to maintain momentum because skepticism feels cold. You call it faith. Often it is fatigue, the tired heart searching for a place to set itself down, even if the table is not sturdy. Be surgical with yourself. Label the trigger the moment your chest warms with hurried trust. Closeness spike. Do not shame it. Identify it like a doctor tagging an artery. Then reduce exposure. Slow the channel, not the kindness. Keep first meetings short and public. Move sensitive talk out of chat and into scheduled calls where pace is deliberate. Split big commitments into staged milestones with clear off-ramps. Ask for small proofs before you offer large surfaces of your life. Verify claims. Check references. If a person resents the pause it takes to confirm reality, that resentment is your confirmation. Then comes confession as currency, the second leak. You were taught that honesty equals intimacy, so you hand over your story like a passport at every border. In the right relationship, confession is a bridge. In the wrong one, it is collateral. Oversharing grants leverage. The details you spill in hour 1 can be used in hour 100 to bend your will. Remember when you said you're afraid of being alone? Becomes a lever. Remember that mistake you told me about? Becomes a leash. The shadow loves this trade because it feels noble, while it writes a contract you did not read. Adopt tactical disclosure. Replace impulsive reveals with timed, purpose-driven ones. Before you share, ask 3 questions. Why now? With what boundary? For what outcome? If you cannot name all 3, wait. Use layered sharing. Offer light facts first, and watch how they hold them. Do they protect your words or parade them? Share a small truth that is emotionally neutral and see if it stays in the room. If it leaks, you learned at low cost. When purpose truly exists, alignment, safety, partnership reveal only what is necessary for the next joint step, not your entire archive for someone's curiosity. Keep a rule for heated moments. If your pulse is high, your story stays home. Now the rescue addiction, the warmest mask of ego. You see pain and feel the ancient pull to fix it. The savior reflex once kept you loved in a chaotic house. Today it trades standards for gratitude. You offer discounts to clients who forgot the budget, extend deadlines for partners who never plan, and rewrite other people's responsibilities so the team doesn't suffer. You become the hero and the host of every avoidable fire. Gratitude arrives, briefly, and then the cycle resets with greater appetite. Your reward is applause, your cost is erosion. Choose a sobering audit. List the rescues of the last 90 days. For each, mark the real cost: money, time, resentment, and opportunity. Then ask, did my help solve a root problem or shield a pattern from consequence? If you are honest, many rescues were theater heat that felt like progress while the structure rotted. Build discomfort tolerance so decisions serve objectives, not ego. Let a project fail at a small scope so the lesson burns clean. Say, that's outside my role, and stay seated while the room searches for the right owner. Offer help that reinforces standards, templates, clear timelines, and consequences for misses. Protect your future self from the gratitude hangover that follows every unearned save. Across all 3 levers, trust hunger, confession as currency, rescue addiction, the pattern is speed. The shadow moves fast. It wants closeness now, disclosure now, heroism now. Slow is your shield. Use time like a gate. Sleep on invitations. Delay yes by one sunrise. Write policies while calm and follow them when warm. Put cooling distance between stimulus and response. In silence, the hook reveals itself. In speed, you are already caught. Modern life will try to unteach this. Apps monetize your urgency. Comment sections bait your truth into the street. Workplaces praise the person who goes above and beyond, even when that means soaking damage others caused. You do not have to rage against it. You need only to govern yourself. Governance looks like a boring calendar, a simple budget of attention, and a handful of sentences you use again and again. I'll decide tomorrow. I don't discuss that. That's not my responsibility. These lines are not armor against intimacy. They are scaffolding for a self that can meet intimacy without fear. You are not forbidden from trust, confession, or rescue. You are invited to sequence them. Trust after evidence. Confession after reciprocity. Rescue after standards are held and consequences are carried by the right shoulders. When you put order back where chaos lived, you will feel a temporary loneliness. The room that fed on your urgency will grow quiet. Then you will feel a steadier companionship, self-respect. From there, closeness becomes possible without blindness, honesty without leverage, help without self-erasure. Your wounds will always vote, but they do not get a veto. Notice the vote, count it, and choose as a governor, not as a child in a storm. People who once steered you will find their hands empty. People who can meet you at eye level will draw closer, slower, real. The life you are building is not reactive theater. It is architecture lines. Weight, balance, light. You will not respond slower because you are weak. You will respond slower because you are deliberate. The shadow will still speak, but your hand will stay on the wheel, steady, patient, awake. Evidence before trust, purpose before confession, standards before rescue. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Niccolo Machiavelli. You believed loyalty was armor. You stayed late, kept confidences, delivered bad news so your leader didn't have to, and told yourself the ledger would protect you when knives came out. Then the knives arrive with a smile. Overnight, the room changes temperature. Your name, once a password to close doors, becomes a caution in side chats. A decision you executed on orders is retold as your personal ambition. The same efficiency that one you trust is framed as control. You feel the floor drop inside your chest by half an inch small, but enough to make every step land wrong. That is the moment the mask of "I am loyal, therefore I am safe" slips off, and you see the stage lights for what they are. Weather. From chosen to disposable happens in a single meeting. A launch slips. A client cools. Someone must carry heat. Eyes shuttle between faces. Your chief clears his throat and says, "We moved too fast," and the table hears your name. The narrative is clean because it is useful. You were overconfident. You pushed without consensus. You ignored warnings no one can produce. A colleague you mentored asks a soft question that lands like a blade. The leader does not correct them. Silence makes its choice. Outside the room, the edits continue. In Slack, people add context that trims you down. In hallways, kindness thins. Your calendar goes quiet where it used to hum. Past decisiveness is reclassified as rashness. Boundary setting becomes arrogance. Directness becomes cruelty. You reach for more loyalty as if it were rope. You volunteer for extra damage control. You send late-night summaries to show accountability. But the frame is bent, and light bends with it. Effort poured into the wrong frame only engraves the accusation. Machiavelli would tell you what your gut already knows. Princes do not love, they bargain. When circumstances turn, they will trade a lieutenant to steady the city. Your mistake was not loyalty. It was staking your safety on being seen as loyal. You made yourself a symbol of another's stability, and symbols are burned when crowds demand fire. You are not condemned. You are mispositioned. The correction is strategic, not sentimental. Rage surges first. You want to drag receipts into daylight, force private orders into public record, and shout the truth until the paint curls. Then paralysis arrives. You stare at the screen, unblinking, as if stillness could reverse the weather. Between rage and paralysis lies a quieter disaster. Apology spirals. Panic admissions confirm hostile frames. You draft long, soft paragraphs to everyone who might be deciding your fate, explaining intentions, confessing tone crimes, accepting blame that isn't yours just to keep the peace. You think you're clearing fog, you're feeding it. Each frantic apology kneels inside the enemy's storyline and blesses it. The crowd reads capitulation as confession. The more you explain your heart, the less you are believed. That is not humility. That is surrender of authorship. Stern correction, delay, triage, controlled messaging. Delay is not sulking. It is sovereignty in the gap between injury and action. Count 3 breaths. Let the first fire pass. Triage the mess into 3 piles: facts, harms, next steps. What happened exactly, with dates and artifacts? Who was harmed, concretely, and how will repair be measured? What one move stabilizes the field this week? Then speak once, in writing, to the right forum, at the right time. Not a scroll, a stone. One paragraph that names the fact, the intent, and the next step, with a deadline you can hit. You do not defend who you are. You define what you will do. Apologies must be surgical. If you broke a link in the chain, say so once. Pair it with the fix, and move. Do not apologize to fog. Fog invites you to furnish the hostile frame with your own words. When an opponent says people felt unsafe, ask for observable, time-bound specifics. When a leader hints at misalignment, request the document that defines alignment and propose the revision. Keep your tone level, your sentences simple, your timelines on the calendar. This is not coldness, it is containment. You are repositioning from defendant to operator. Meanwhile, the invisible jury convenes in your skull. It wears the faces of old bosses, friends who withdrew, family who taught you that obedience equals love. You argue with them in the shower and on the drive home, rehearsing perfect closing statements to win back people who are not in the car. Compassion, but hard. Every minute in that courtroom bleeds power. The jury is imagined. The verdicts are self-authored. Rule begins within. If your inner city is governed by pleading, your outer life will follow its law. Replace self-justification with standards. Ask the ruthless question, is this effective? Not, do they like me? Not, do they know I'm loyal? Does this move the objective you chose? Build a visible ledger. Daily. 2 outcomes that advance the mission. 1 boundary you will hold without ceremony. 1 message you will send in level tone. Weekly. 1 artifact that speaks when you are not in the room. A document, a patch, a decision log with trade-offs and owners. When panic rises, open the ledger and look at ink, not imagination. Evidence is a calmer god than mood. Design your counterframe through behavior, not speeches. Publish timelines, clarify ownership, write agreements in public channels. Invite stakeholders to the plan, not to your feelings. Where repair is owed, deliver it without self-flagellation. Where conflict is required, keep edge without venom. Around the rival who benefits from your fall, narrow access and raise documentation. Collaborate like a surgeon. Sterile field, sharp cuts, no performance. If separation is possible, take it without ceremony. If not, reduce surface area and increase clarity. The goal is not victory in rumor war. The goal is immunity to rumor weather. Modern scenes demand the same posture. In a startup sprint, a founder hints that you went rogue. Do not narrate your soul. Link to the spec, the approvals, the risk calls, and the redress. Offer the stabilization plan with owners and dates. In a non-profit, a board member soft accuses you of grandstanding. Decline the stage, point to metrics moved and the next milestone. In a friend group, someone leaks your private doubt to earn points. Do not chase love with vulnerability theater. Draw a smaller circle and move your life inside it. You will be tempted to prove you are safe by being softer. Understand the trade. Softness. Advertised is often safety sold at a loss. Keep kindness, but do not spend it to buy permission to exist. Convert it into reliability. Show up on time. Say less. Do more. Document well. When praise returns, let it pass through you. When blame arrives, let it land on facts. You are training the room slowly, quietly to read you by outcomes. Then comes the recovery of will. Your loyalty is no longer a leash. It is a choice inside a hierarchy of aims. You are loyal to the mission, to standards, to those who stand inside them when weather turns. You are not loyal to image management. You are not loyal to a leader's need for a story that keeps their hands clean. If they ask you to carry blame that cannot be mapped to your decisions, you decline with precision. If they hint that love will be withdrawn, you let love go. You can survive without it. You can't survive without your center. One day, the room will test you again. A crisis will search for a spine to borrow. This time, you won't offer yours blindly. You will protect your name with receipts, your time with boundaries, and your aim with a plan. You will apologize when you must, and never to fog. You will not argue with ghosts. You will not beg the city to love you back. You will act, document, and move. Be loyal to the mission, not the mood. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. You are not a prince in Florence, yet every room you enter runs on levers. The error was reading smiles as contracts. Replace sentiment with maps. Sketch the interests before you step. It was never love. It was leverage, and leverage answers to price, not poetry. Utility predicts behavior. Decode patterns by who benefits, not who promises. A manager who praises your team spirit while you absorb chaos will discover new priorities the week you stop being their cushion. A client who calls you partner while you discount disappears when you invoice at market. A lover who adores your steadiness grows dim when your boundaries require them to carry their own weight. Feelings fluctuate, advantages endure. Ask the plain questions. What do they gain if you say yes? What do they lose if you say no? Who are they trying to impress? Who can pressure them? Write it like a field sketch: names, incentives, deadlines, exits. When you make interests visible, behavior becomes predictable. You stop reading faces and start reading structure. Detachment sharpens that reading. Detachment is not cruelty, it is clarity. When you are hungry for approval, you hallucinate promises. When you are steady and able to walk away, you see incentives cleanly. Options are eyeglasses, cash reserves, portable skills, and multiple channels of demand. With options, you can separate applause from commitment, attention from investment, sentiment from stake. The result is fewer surprises and faster decisions. You stop pleading. You start measuring. Aligned incentives beat affection. If you want loyalty to hold, design roles, rewards, and risks, so cooperation pays and betrayal costs. At work, define scope, milestones, decision owners, and change policy before you begin. Put the trade-offs in writing. Add X, move milestone; Y, increase cost; Z, confirm. Make misuse expensive and alignment cheap. Praise becomes predictable when performance is measured and terms are clear. People respect what they must account for. In business, price your value so fidelity is rational. Use retainers for access, rush fees for chaos, and service levels tied to response windows. When terms reflect reality, both sides can plan. The client who loved your flexibility will either fund it or fade. Either outcome is information. Predictability is oxygen for serious partners and poison for opportunists. Let that oxygen and poison do the sorting. In romance, aligned incentives means boundaries that protect the relationship instead of subsidizing dysfunction. Choose presence over proof and plans over promises. If conflict erupts whenever you refuse to be endlessly available, the incentive powering the bond was your erasure. When the rule is simple, respect first, then warmth trust becomes the default, because the cost of breaking respect is losing access. That is not harsh, it is honest. Love that survives structure is love you can build on. Socially, engineer reciprocity, cadence, not constant contact. Some connections live monthly, a few weekly, almost none daily. Track initiation and follow through quietly. If a friend only appears when you are useful, their loyalty is to convenience, not to you. Adjust access instead of writing essays. Gratitude stays, dependency fades. Over time, your table gets smaller and steadier. That is the point. Now pivot from pleasing to positioning. Pleasing is reaction. You chase approval while goalposts move. Positioning is authorship. You define the scene and the terms, so cooperation with you becomes the easiest path. You do not threaten, you root. Rivers carve stone not by fury but by direction and time. Make your direction unmistakable. At work, trade apologies for architecture. Before kickoff, send the one-page charter. Objective, metrics, roles, risks, schedule, and change policy. When a stakeholder adds a quick request, answer like a quartermaster, happy to include X. Impact is 12 hours, moves milestone B to the 18th, adds $1,500. Proceed. That sentence is velvet around a blade. It teaches the room that your time has a price and your yes is a promise with weight. Soon, the cheapest path is to align with your structure, not to push against it. In dating, positioning is rhythm and selection. Prefer calls to frantic text wars, plans to vibes, calm to spectacle. Protect sleep, training, and focus without speeches. You never punish, you pass. End the subsidy of endless reassurance and replace it with reliable presence and clean exits. Those who relied on your blur will call you cold. Those who wanted partnership will call you clear. Keep moving, the filter is working. In friendships, positioning is curation and pace. Host deliberately, with clear start and end. Decline without essays. Replace proximity with standards. When people understand your terms, they either match them or drift. Let them. You are not chasing, you are choosing. Your clarity becomes the quiet gravity that selects your allies for you. Make the price of betrayal high and the rewards of fidelity clear. Document decisions. Keep receipts. Build reserves. Diversify demand. Deliver predictably. When the easiest road is to cooperate with you, traffic flows your way. Not because they love you, but because the terrain you designed rewards alignment. If affection remains after the levers are removed, you have found the rare thing. If it evaporates, you have found your teacher. Either way, you stay steady, because your pace answers to your rules, not to their moods. Terms before trust. Trust is a currency. You accept it, but you bank on structure. Betrayal is not a plot twist, it is a risk class. You don't panic when it arrives, you limit its blast radius. Your task is not to make people angelic. It is to make defection expensive and fidelity convenient. You do this with compartments, incentives, optics, boundaries, counter-narratives, and clean exits. The point is survival with momentum. The tone is calm, the grip is firm, and the plan is built before anyone thinks to slip the knife. Compartmentalization protocol comes first. Give access by function, not by friendship. Need to know means exactly that. Each person sees only the part required to ship their piece. Dual controls protect keys, no single sign-on to treasury, contracts, or deploy. Pair approvals, so money and code require two independent hands. Put audit trails everywhere. Version history on docs. Change logs on repos. Time-stamped decisions in the recap. If someone vanishes, the work continues. If someone defects, the breach is a bruise, not an artery. In a small team, split critical knowledge roadmap, pricing levers, and client list, so no one can walk out with the whole map. In relationships and friendships, the same rule applies. Intimacy does not mean unguarded access to every lever. You reveal slowly and bind with shared build, not shared weakness. Incentive engineering turns loyalty from poetry into math. Tie rewards to outcomes and timing. Milestone bonuses only when the feature ships and the metric holds for 30 days. Revenue shares vest after collection, not signature. Include clawbacks for inflated numbers or early exits. Publish the conditions in plain language. Shared upside outperforms flattery. Hit retention targets and you own a slice. Miss and the pool shrinks. Pay people on the curve they produce, not the promises they speak. With vendors, stage payouts by deliverables. With partners, define triggers that release benefit as risk declines. In dating or social life, incentives are boundaries. Access grows with consistency, not charm. You are not cynical, you are clear. Fidelity becomes cheaper than treachery because treachery forfeits real, scheduled gain. Optics of stability attract pragmatic allies and repel opportunists. Your body is still, your cadence is slow, your words land in short, clean packets. In chaos, you write the recap. What happened, what it costs, what happens next, who owns it, when it lands. The recap is armor visible, time-stamped, and shareable. Use the same format every time so the room recognizes the signal. In a crisis, you acknowledge the hit once, then speak in steps. Incident at 9:20, service stable by 10:05, root cause by 14, patch at 16, post-mortem tomorrow. Opportunists thrive on yawns and flinches. You give them neither. Your stillness says, there is a governor. The calm hand draws the builders. The rumor eaters drift away because you starve them of motion and drama. Boundary engineering reduces emotional blackmail. Replace soft nose with standards that reference scope, stage, and cost. We follow the scope. Changes require a brief with trade-offs and a new timeline. We don't accept verbal approvals. Place it in writing. Meetings need a decision, a clock, and an owner. Otherwise, they don't happen. When someone pushes with guilt, don't you trust me? Return to process. Trust is not the workflow. The workflow is the workflow. In personal life, I don't discuss serious matters by text. Call at 7. I leave at 10. Boundaries spoken calmly become fixtures. People reorganize around fixtures. Your standard is professional, not punitive. The system denies manipulation by refusing to recognize it as a valid input. Counter-narrative defense is martial. You will face stories that cast you as controlling, careless, or cruel. Do not debate detail by detail. That is a swamp built to drown you. Elevate and restate the frame in 3 lines. Mission, constraints, metric. Our job is secure delivery by Friday under audit limits. The only metric is failure rate. 2 viable paths remain. Redirect all noise toward that metric. Does this change failure rate by Friday? If not, it waits. If the attack continues, reduce oxygen. This thread does not move the metric. Decision at 4, A or B. In public, post a concise summary with facts, participants, and next steps. Then refuse spectacle. You are not trying to win hearts in the bazaar. You are keeping your convoy moving. The story you tell is short and repeatable. Every extra sentence is a gift to the ambush. Exit scenarios. Protect your name when alignment dies. Pre-write 2. The graceful exit and the hard stop. The graceful exit thanks credits, cites constraints, and cleanly hands off assets and responsibilities. It preserves future bridges and leaves a paper trail of order. The hard stop cites breach of law, missed milestones, dishonest reporting, hostile behavior, and executes the termination clauses exactly as written. No improvisation, no revenge notes, no late-night essays. Keep tone calm and clocks exact. Notice delivered. access revoked, compensation per contract, assets returned by date. In relationships, a parallel template serves. Values diverged, contact pauses for 90 days, return items by Friday, future communication through email only. You are not cruel. You are ending chaos before it spreads. Reputation is your capital. Exits are how you defend it. Put the system to work in a real fire. A partner hints at side deals. Because of compartments, they cannot sink the ship. Because of incentives, disloyalty forfeits upside. Because of optics, you issue a crisp recap that sets the room. Because of boundaries, new requests route through process. Because of counter-narrative, you refuse theater and return to the metric. Because of exit plans, you can cut ties with a letter and a clock. You did not need fury, you needed prepared rails. The lesson spreads. This is a house where order beats panic and betrayal buys little. Modern life tries to treat betrayal as gossip. You treat it as engineering. Remove single points of failure. Convert loyalty to schedules and numbers. Put stillness on display and text on the record. Make standards the mask that feelings must wear. Keep your story higher than the ambush and shorter than the rumor. Leave cleanly when the contract is dead. You will still be surprised. You will not be unprepared. People who might have considered treachery will do the math. People who value order will move closer. The ship does not sail because everyone is pure. It sails because you built it to survive the weather. Structure first, sentiment second. Hope that lasts is built like a fortress, not sung like a lullaby. Designed for betrayal, and you will sleep. You do not grow cold, you grow clear. When the room is clear, kindness is safe. Benevolence, after order. Sequence is strategy. First, you make the system hold. Rules written, roles defined, time boxed, consequences certain. Then you open your hand. At work, that looks like access controls, single owners, deadlines that bite, and the rule that urgent does not purchase sloppiness. Only after this do you grant privileges, flex schedules, mentorship time, public praise. People relax because the floor stops moving. In love, it means pace and boundaries before warmth. No midnight trials, no punishment by silence, no relitigating yesterday. You set response windows, you protect your sleep, you leave when respect is withdrawn. Once standards hold, affection is safe. You can give without being steered, and you can forgive without inviting the storm back in. Quiet rituals, not loud speeches. You are not paranoid, you are prepared. Each morning, set the weather with a first sentence that frames the day. 90 minutes of deep work before messages, or this meeting ends. With one decision I will write down. That single line becomes a wall against drift. Next, run an interest check before trust. When a colleague seems helpful, ask for a small, costly action. Share the deck before the call. Write the summary. Return the sample on time. In dating, watch calendars, not captions. Do plans land? Do times stick? Do promises meet daylight? Finally, close the week with an exposure audit. List your points of risk. One client that pays too much of the revenue. One person who knows all the passwords. One habit that collapses when you are tired. Add buffers, second vendor, shared credentials in a vault, a preset bedtime. Vigilance becomes a habit, not a mood. These rituals change outcomes. Requests stop arriving at the last minute because the last minute no longer works. Meetings shrink because your first sentence charges a toll for wandering. You stop buying relief, late-night junk, impulse gear, apology gifts because your day no longer bleeds into panic. Your inbox becomes a tool instead of a trap. Your phone leaves your hand for whole hours. Your voice lowers without effort. Sleep grows longer because decisions are not renegotiated at midnight. You become generous without being harvested, because your gates open on hinges that lock. People who preferred you pliable learn a new truth. You are kind, and you are not available to chaos. And what of hope? Hope is the calm produced by a system that refuses to lie. When your will rules, choices sharpen. You know what is worth a reply. You know when to walk away. The gifted intern gets room because process protects the team. The friend in real need gets your money because your budget is not chaos. The partner earns trust because you measured interest first. Strength makes generosity safe, and generosity turns strength from iron into law. You do not need to threaten, you keep the climate, and the climate keeps the rules. Hold the still center, see a ruler in a high hall, doors open to wind and rumor. Courtiers bring storms, supply shocks, harsh comments, betrayal dressed as favor. He does not chase the storm into the streets, he sets the weather in the chamber. One measured line, we will act on documents, not whispers, and the air changes. Guards relax their hands, scribes write the order. A messenger arrives breathless. The ruler lifts a hand, and the room remembers its spine. He expects storms, therefore he sleeps. He designs for betrayal, therefore he can afford benevolence. This is your work. Build systems that hold. Test interest before you trust. Audit exposure before exposure audits you. Speak the first sentence that sets the climate. Enforce once, every time. Then be fair. Then be warm. When you design for betrayal, you create rooms where betrayal starves and loyalty grows. Peace over chaos is not an accident. It is a structure you defend with quiet hands and clean consequences. Order first, then kindness. My calm is by design.